Hey guys, welcome back. This is a spoiler alert for most of you. I'm going to show you a Guardian that features as an enemy in the game, but they are not yet playable. Most of you will have not made it to the end of Chapter 7 on any difficulty of the story. A lot of the OG betas and the vets will already know this, so if you do, this one is not for you, it's for the new people. I'm going to go ahead and go on expert. But I want it on Chapter 7. There we go. And yeah, let's talk a little bit about Jafar. So if you look at this here, you will see the Jafar I'm about to battle, level 85. His core ability, if you hold your heavy, you'll get a 10% attack. Stacks at 5. If the enemy target has a buff, Jafar's heavy roots. Whenever an enemy is rooted, Jafar also purges, so you do not want to get rooted by him. Whenever Jafar purges that enemy, he deals 70% damage and he also gains a 10% attack. That stacks at 5 until the end of combat. So that will drop in between waves once we are able to play as Jafar. And he does sound very damaging for a support, you have to admit. Special ability is Soul Drain. Jafar's combat target is rooted for 5 seconds. And Jafar purges a buff each second for the duration of the root. So he's basically a support that is an anti-melee or an anti-support. So if he locks on to, say, an enemy Scrooge that has all those focus stacks, he's going to start purging them very fast. If he locks onto a Hercules, an Aerial, a Scar, or even an Anger, anybody that self-stacks and they can stack pretty fast, Jafar is going to hard counter all of them and drop their damage significantly. So on top of that, the combat target is also inflicted with Soul Drain, dealing 50% damage for 5 seconds. Each time Soul Drain deals damage, Jafar heals. So it's basically like a Malzahar slash a Fiddlesticks of League of Legends. If any of you are familiar with them characters, he's kind of got a bit of both of them in one. He'll stun you, root you, take your stacks, and take your life. So you do not want to get caught by this. Signature ability, Darky Sorcery. Whilst he's charging a heavy attack, he gains a 30% debuff. So this coincides with his core that gives the attack buff when you're charging heavies. So you probably do want to utilize his heavy attacks every now and then if you are controlling him. Whenever one of Jafar's allies is defeated, all remaining allies have a 25% chance to gain Indestructible for 5 seconds. Now, Indestructible buff, off the top of my head, it's only Jafar, it is only Genie, and it is also on Hercules' Sig. The only person that can get rid of these indestructible buffs, and this is fairly new, is Hades. He's the only one that can purge the indestructible buffs, so likely he will be a counter to these. And last but not least, on his signature ability, after Jafar uses his special, if the combat target is still alive, it gains lure for 10 seconds. Okay, so enough talk about Jafar, let's see him in action. This encounter is pretty tough at this one. I'm underpowered, but it's not so bad with this team setup. You have Jafar with everything we've just spoke about. You have some of these Flameborn Alphas, which are the upgraded versions of the ones from Chapter 6. 2 Genies come into play. You have to win with all 3 Guardians, and you have to do it in 3 minutes to get all 3 maximum stars. They are also buffed. Expert Fractured, which is the quest buff. Enemies have increased defense, increased damage on special abilities and heavies, and they use their specials more often. And the encounter buff, just specific to this encounter, just for the bosses. As long as Fractured Genie is present, Jafar is indestructible. Each time Genie becomes indestructible, Jafar loses indestructible but becomes stunned for 5 seconds, but does gain 5% attack, 5% focus. So basically, they alternate whichever one is indestructible, so you have to switch fast and drop the other one. So chances are, you'll see exactly what I mean now. Let's get right into the combat. That's enough talking from me. So the first wave is fairly simple, it's just those them Alpha-born swarm thingies. You just take these down, get your buff node in the middle, and then straight into the Jafar battle. So I like using Aladdin on this one rather than Aerial, because all the wounds from Aladdin do help a lot. Almost dead here. But we'll pull it back. Don't you worry. Do not worry. Let's take the HP on this one just to be on the safe side. Usually if you get through that in better standing, which I normally do, You would take the focus so you have more crit damage and more of a critical chance. However, the crit damage isn't so significant, it doesn't jump that much. If you'd like to see the exact numbers, go into your stats of the Guardian you want to see, press the little yellow focus icon and it will show you the percentage chance and how much additional damage that does. We've immediately been rooted, purge him, fence, and stun Interruptus. Get behind him, get these wounds on, interrupt that stun. Genie's in, Jafar is indestructible. You can find out who is indestructible by looking directly above them and you see that blue triangle. The blue gem, it's kind of like a sapphire I guess. Diamond. Whenever you see that, switch targets. As you can see, this is why it's a bit of a pain in the ass, this node, because you only get 3 minutes and you can whiff your specials exactly like that. It doesn't help that I'm travelling all this distance as well. Oof, that's 2 missed. It's not going as great as it should, but we have plenty of time. Completely out of his way, so he doesn't focus me, focus anybody else. So the idea to beat this one is to keep the stacks up on whoever you are using on your melee. So you're increasing that damage, it's taking less time. He does have an insane amount of HP. And we also have these in the battle. These are fairly easy to take down, they don't have much HP, especially with all these buffs. Come on, switch, 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 switch. Go. And if you look to the top left, you'll see we got stunned and we started to purge us as well. We're still stunned, and we've just been knocked back as well. Get the armor up. Get some stacks back on. Switch over, get rid of the genie, last genie in this battle, and then let's just hammer this Jafar all the way through now. Get stuck purging me, would be very helpful. See, I'm just going to stay on the genie now and let the other two deal damage to these swarms, so we can get all of the big numbers on Jafar. Still have 44 seconds to do this. The other swarm is down, and now it's going to be back to a 3-on-1 situation. But now a few more have decided to join in. Get the armor back up, stay on the Jafar and let everybody else do that work. Try not to get caught in the swarm specials when they do pop up. Gonna cut it close with this one. See if we can clutch it. There we go, just about. Not the best run, but it's still done, and it still would have been a 3-star run. And that just shows you what a level 80 Jafar with only one signet looks like in the game currently against my level 80 Astral 3 Guardians. So I feel, just based off that, it's way too early to tell. I feel like he will be a very good support. Looking forward to when they do drop him in the game. It won't be the next update, it could be, but this story level's been out for quite a while, so I would not count on it. If you like the content, don't forget, leave a like, sub, comment, all of that if you want to. If not, just keep an eye out for my next video. As always, take it easy now.